Hi all, it's me, Natalie. It's been a while since I did one of these, and I know, and I'm sorry, but here I am. Okay, so this video is going to be talking about the interview process. And I just did my interview a few days ago. I did it on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. And today is Sunday, so it's still kind of hopefully fresh in my mind. And so basically this year the interview process was a little bit different than it was in the previous years. In previous years there would have been a phone interview, a group interview, and then an in-person interview, if I'm not mistaken. This year they eliminated the phone interview and the group interview, and so there was just the individual interview. And basically what happens is you get an email asking you to fill out your role checklist. I think I've talked about this already, but I'm going to review it. So role checklist, and pick your interview time. And then when that interview time rolls around, it's going to be kind of in two parts. The first part is the presentation, which will take place in the morning. Mine took place at 9 o'clock, and it goes for about an hour. And that's for everybody who's going for an interview on that day. And that'll happen every single one of the 4 days of interviewing. Something really important about the presentation to remember is that if you don't go to the presentation, you will not be allowed to interview. So it is really, really important that you get there in the morning for that presentation. They usually ask you to get there like 15 minutes. I cannot stress this enough. Do it. Be there. Because I saw at my interview someone who didn't make it to the presentation, and she was called for her interview, and 2 minutes later she walked it back out again, and they did not let her interview. And they were trying to figure out if there was some other time when she could maybe come next day and do the presentation, and hope someone canceled. But don't put yourself in that situation. Really don't. Just go in the morning. I know it might be difficult depending on your situation, but really make that effort, because the importance of it is immense. Okay, so in that presentation, just more general info about it. Pretty much you'll sit down and they'll kind of give you a little bit more information about it. So you'll find out more about where you're going to be living, and you'll find out basically life got the most amount of pay, and you'll be told why for that, and you're told just stuff about the visa process, and you're told about other opportunities that you can go on to work for Disney. There's an opportunity at one of their other hotels. I believe it was in South Carolina, and they give you a little bit of information about that opportunity. You see videos of people who've done the program before just talking about how amazing it was and how much they loved it, and how great of an experience it was. And they'll throw little trivia questions in in the middle. So I remember I won a little luggage tag from one of those questions, and pretty much it was the question was just something simple what was the last resort that Disney opened, and the latest resort was the Art of Animation Hotel, which I actually stayed at, so I knew that answer, and I raised my hand, and they were giving out the little luggage tag prizes, and they did a bunch of them, and I would suggest trying to answer them, because it shows that you're paying attention and that you're participating and stuff like that. And then they'll give you a chance to ask questions. Pretty much that's it for the presentation section. I would suggest bringing a pad and a pad of paper and a pen just so you can kind of take notes on what's told, because there's a lot of information about, like, they'll tell you when it actually starts, because you won't know the start dates, like the arrival dates, until you get to this presentation. So it's super important to kind of write that down so you know when you're going. Yeah. Okay. So after the presentation, excuse me. After the presentation, there's kind of like a break, I guess, until you do your interview. I remember the presentation ended at, I think it was 10, and then my interview wasn't until 2:30. So they'll tell you, yeah, go hang out, grab something to eat, just leave for a little bit, and then come back for your interview time. Interviews run all day, so they ran from 10:30 to, I believe it was, on the night. And so as I said, mine was at 2:30, so I just went out, caught lunch with one of my friends, and then came back. And they suggest that you get there about 15 to 20 minutes before your interview slot, just so like you're there when your interview slot starts, because you have to be there for the entire interview slot, and you have to be available for that entire interview slot, and there's no guarantee of when you're going to be going. Like, I know, because for mine, I was one of the last people called in my interview slot. And bear in mind that because there were so many people going, like, it's bound to run over. I remember, like, for mine, it was running over by, I would say, like, half an hour. And you've just got to kind of run with that. So try not to make any plans directly after your interview slot. I would, like, at least, like, had a bit of trouble just getting to my train because of the timing of it all. So give yourself a lot of time. And then once you're there, you might want to, like, talk to people while you're waiting for your interview. Like, I met some really, really lovely people that way. And I just find that, like, it's a good idea to start getting working with ahead of time. So yeah, talk to people. They're all really nice. They all love Disney, so you have something in common right away to start off with. And yeah. But once you actually get into your interview, this is, like, the important part. And I know probably some of you are freaking out about it. I mean, you won't be yet, but next year, if you see this video, you might be. Yeah. Okay, anyways. So, I know the interview is kind of like the hard part. Try not to stress about it too much. They're all really, really lovely people. They're so nice, and they try really hard to make you feel at ease. So don't, like, get so freaked up. I know I'm always really bad with interviewing. Like, I'll find I start talking really fast and getting nervous, but try not to do that. Okay, so basically, some of the questions they ask, one question which they will always ask is about whether or not you have any tattoos, visible tattoos, or piercings. And that's just to make sure, because Disney has a very certain image that they present with the people who work there, that if you have a tattoo, say, on your upper arm, they'll have to, like, cover that with the costume. And if you have any, like, piercings on, like, your nose or on, like, your eyebrow, like, you'll have to take those out. The only piercings they allow are one in each ear. Don't know what they do about guys. I don't think you're allowed piercings if you're a guy. And I know for guys that your hair has to be above your collar and then not over your ears, I think. You can read all of that information on the website. But they do ask about the tattoos and piercings, so remember that. I know with people who have glasses, they will ask about glasses, because your glasses have, like, kind of neutral colors, so browns, blacks, grays. They don't like colored glasses or anything crazy like that. They just want it, like, nice and simple and classic and neutral. So that's that. And then they'll kind of get into, like, the interview proper. where they ask you about like your work experience, why you want to work at Disney, why you chose the top that you chose, and like they would ask like specific questions. Like if you put merchandising as one of your top roles, they'll ask, like, how are you going to be handling American money? And if you chose like character attendant as one of them, they'd ask, okay, what would you do if someone comes up and it's like, I really want to meet this person, sorry, this character, but it's the character's time to go take a break because they work in 20-minute shifts. And so they'd ask you that. They would ask you basically like how your previous experience would affect working at Disney, like how you would feel about the extreme weather of Florida, so like rain or heat. They ask about all sorts of general questions like that. I don't know if I remember anything else specifically. Oh, yeah, for me they talked about my school and like the program that I'm in and why I chose to study what I'm studying, which is history and English. And like they just kind of want to gauge like your personality and see if you're going to be like a good fit to work at Disney. So like be happy, be yourself, be cheerful. Just show them how much Disney and how much you love it and how much you really want it. And that's really the important part. Now, I haven't heard back yet because interviews just ended on Friday and that would be ridiculous. But basically, and I'll tell you this at the presentation, after all of the interviews are over, so interviews went from the Tuesday to the Friday, after all of those are over, they suggest giving it like 2 weeks probably before you hear back. And if you don't hear back in the first wave of responses and offers that they send out, don't panic. There are always people who, for some situation or for some reason or another, can't do the program even though they've been offered a place there. So they will send out a wave of offers, probably a little closer to like 15 days afterwards, because you technically have 30 days to accept your offer or reject your offer, but they suggest doing it within 15 days just so they know to get back to the other people. So keep checking your dashboard, keep checking your emails because they will send you an email, I'm assuming, and as always, if you have any questions or comments or just want to talk, you can reach me in the comments below or on Tumblr, and I'd love to talk to you, and hopefully I'll do another video soon telling you I got the program. If not, I'll still do another video and we'll try again next year.